The bike ministry started in 2001 and was created by Charlie Rodriguez, who had a vision of giving away bikes to children. And he did that for a couple years, and then he passed away, and the bike ministry kind of went blank for a while. Around 2004, when we had Hurricane Charlie come through the area, it tore up this building pretty good, but it was still usable for giving away water and other things. It was kind of a centralized site where they were giving out stuff in hurricane relief. About that time, another couple, Paul and Linda Lawrence, decided they'd try to take over the bike ministry, but they didn't know much about it. And so they got a homeless guy. His name was Lawrence Lee, and he used to work in bikes down in Key West at a bike shop. So he helped Paul and Linda kind of figure out how they were going to run this bike ministry. And so they did it for a couple years, and then we came down from up north, and Elaine and I thought this was a bike ministry where you rode bikes around and you did things. And no, it wasn't that. It was a bike ministry where you repaired bikes and handed them out. And so we got interested in that, and then we took over the program in about 2007 or 2008, and then we've been managing it since then. The bike ministry, basically their mission is to give away bikes to anybody that needs to have a bike. Part of our church mission is to help people meet, know, and serve Jesus Christ, and in order to do that, our part in this is being kind of a service area where we're serving the community. So we don't limit the bikes to anybody, except that we only give them out to a person that's had them for less than a year. If they come in and request a bike and they've had one in less than 12 months, then we ask them to wait. If not, then we give a bike away to them. There's nothing required except an ID. We just ask them for an ID so we can check their name against our list. And other than that, we basically help anybody that comes to our door. We try to fix all the bikes as best we can. All of our volunteers are volunteer people. They are not bike mechanics necessarily. They've got an interest in bike repair, and they've been able to do a pretty good job at trying to keep the bikes in working order. We don't fix them up by painting them or making them look fancy or anything. We just take whatever we have and we fix it and make sure it's mechanically sound. Make sure all the tires are pumped up and the chains greased and everything is functioning. All the brakes are functioning and the gears are functioning. And so when it leaves our place, we're sure that the person having it will have a safe ride. Elaine works on most of the kids' bikes. We do have some demand for kids' bikes, but basically the ministry has been giving out mostly to adults. That's what we have the most requests for. We do have other avenues that we give children's bikes out to, and I'll let her explain some of that.
The children's bikes, we seem to always have an abundance of them. So we tried to figure out how we could get rid of them because we were bursting at the seams. So several years ago, we found that World Vision would take them if we had about 150 to 200 bikes. So before we remodeled our building, we had space to store that many bikes, and so we would store them, and then World Vision would send a semi and we'd load them all in the semi, and World Vision would take them away. And we understand that one of the trips that World Vision took the bikes to a little church at the top of a mountain in West Virginia, and then those people gave them out at their vacation Bible school. So we thought that was a pretty cool thing. But we could never, now we don't have enough space to hold 150 to 200 bikes waiting for a ride. So we had to find something else. So when I was a kid in high school, I went on a work camp to Kentucky to work at Methodist Mountain Mission in Jackson. So we called them and they said, oh, we could take some bikes. So that's where we've been taking them for the past several years. It's quite a haul up there. It's about 1,000 miles door to door to deliver the bikes, but they're very happy to receive them. I remember one time last year, or maybe it was the year before, when we took a second load that year. When we dropped them off, one of the guys said, "Did you bring bikes earlier this year?" And we said, "Yes." And he said, "Man, when you brought that many bikes, I thought we will never, ever get rid of that many bikes." And he said, "They're all gone and we're so happy you brought more." So we're real pleased that we are able to help people in the mountains of Kentucky with our kids' bikes.
Yeah. Well, it's been kind of fun doing this whole project. It's been a pleasure to help people with their bikes. Like I say, there really is no requirements or anything you have to do other than bring an ID to get a bike. The way we collect bikes is we get donations from individuals, mostly individuals, but we've been able to compensate for the demand by also getting bikes from some of the police stations around. We get bikes from the county sheriff, the Charlotte County Sheriff. We get bikes from Northport. We get bikes from Punta Gorda. We used to get bikes from Venice and Sarasota police stations also, but that's kind of withered up now. But most of the people we get bikes from are just trying to either clean out their garage, or they're getting new bikes and they want to have something done with their old bike and they don't want to just trash it, so they bring it in here. We get a variety of different kind of bikes. We get them from completely rust buckets to just about brand new. And the ones that we can't fix for one reason or another, we recycle the parts and we recycle the metal. So there's really nothing that's wasted. Aluminum rims, we can get some good money for that. Any of the really nice bikes, the ones that look pretty new, we sell at our church thrift store, and that's basically how we get the money that we use to replace the disposable parts, like the tires and inner tubes and brakes, all that stuff. And seats. Seats, yeah, seats. Seats. That's what we need, is seats. Every bike that comes in here has a seat missing usually, or it's all tore up, or there's something wrong with it. But in any case, we do the best that we can with what we have. Anything that we can use, you can probably see all of the wheels up there. Those all came off of bikes that we've recycled with metal recycling. So it's an interesting thing. Throughout the pandemic, we were operating all that time. The church was closed, the church building was closed, but the food pantry and the bike ministry both operated throughout the pandemic. It was a challenge because with people being locked up or locked in or staying at home, they needed to have something to do for exercise, and a lot of people started buying bicycles. And a lot of people started coming to us for bicycles, especially children's bicycles, because the kids were home and they needed to have something to do. So we were able to fill that niche a little bit. But right now we're still struggling to try to get tires and things, because a lot of that from our suppliers doesn't even have them in stock. So there's been quite a slowdown even in the bike shops around the area for having parts for bikes. So we're being a little more cautious about the ones that we tear down completely. We're trying to use everything that we can use. But during the last year, we gave out around 450 bikes, and we repaired a little over 250. So we were pretty active even last year. Yeah, we're open 2 Wednesdays a month, on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. Our hours are between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We do 2 things during that time that we're open to the public. We give away bikes. We have a rack of bikes that are over on the wall over there that have yellow tags on them. Those are all bikes that are completed and ready to give away. Each of them has, if there's a serial number, has the serial number on it and the type of bike that it is, and we give that to each of the customers when they come in to get a bike, so they have some way of proving that they've gotten a bike and they didn't just steal it. We also record that information and we keep it here so we know what bikes we've worked on. At the same time that we're giving away bikes, we have another group that repairs bikes. So if somebody wants to bring a bike in to get repaired, we have a way of tagging those, and we'll work on those during the day while we're open, and we try to repair the bike within the time period that we're working. Sometimes we can't get that done because the bikes are in just too bad a shape, but normally we can get the repair done and get it back to the person by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If not, we take their phone number if they have one and try to contact them later. They're all seniors basically, and some come in 1 day a week, some come in 3 days a week, some like Elaine and I come in 5 days a week, and that's kind of how we operate here. Like I say, we're only open on Wednesdays, and that's where we try to have the full crew here, because it takes the whole crew to try to run that day's program. We have a lot of people line up out there to get bikes, and sometimes we don't have enough bikes for everybody that shows up, but it is what it is, I guess. We've had, in the summertime, we've had some high school kids from the church come in and want to learn how to fix bikes, and they get a charge out of being able to repair somebody else's bike. A lot of times they like to bring their own bike in and work on it, which is fine. Everybody thinks the bike is real easy to work on, and in some cases it is easy, but it takes special tools, and there's a lot of little tricks to getting things to come apart or go together right. The bike ministry is located in the Edgewater Church building. It's on the corner of Cochran Boulevard and US 41. Our church phone number is 941-625-3039.